Okay, before we start on this one, I'm after getting a little sticker. This one is from Doug over at Paul Barn. If you've never been over to Doug's channel, I would. The stuff that Doug does is absolutely fantastic. And the stuff he does with hybrids is out of this world. If anybody's interested in a sticker swap, you can drop me a PM on Facebook at BB Turning or on Instagram at BB Turning, or you can drop me an email at bbturning@gmail.com. Now let's get on with this video and we'll start with the finial. What I have chucked up is a piece of Indian Rosewood, and I've just roughly knocked it around just to save time. Right. Oh, excuse me. So, lead is at 1900. Right, so we'll just start taking this down. Right. I'm just going to leave that center in for the moment, just till I get it kind of down size a little bit. Just so I can take a few heavy cuts to get it down to size a little bit. Now I don't do huge tall finials because, to be honest with you, when I'm packing them before going to markets, they break too easily. Right. Now that it's down to there, we'll get rid of that tailstock. Now I just need to turn this light on because I need to really see what I'm doing here. Right, when I'm working on a finial, start that end and work that way. Right. I'm really concentrating here, so I won't be talking much because me and Delicate don't really get on. Now I do a fair bit of sanding when I'm doing finials. As I've said a lot of times, with the nerve damage in my hand, I don't have the fine motor control when I need it. Right, now that's as far as I'm going to go until I sand and finish that part. Right, now I will actually sand it down so it's a lot smaller than that. As I said, I just don't have the motor control anymore with the nerve damage to actually turn it down to the sizes I want. And there's the first part of the finial, sanded down to 400 and Yorkshire gritted. I've taken it down to that with sandpaper because you probably know at this stage, I've said it already in this video, I have pretty severe nerve damage in my hands, and I've lost an awful lot of fine motor control I used to have. Now the base is going to be down here, but I want an accent in the middle of it. Okay, then we're back. Now we have that piece done, sanded, shaped, and Yorkshire gritted. Right, I haven't put a finish on it yet, so now I'm going to start down the rest of it, bottom parts. Right, light speed is 1700. Right, so now what I want to do is almost like a teardrop here. Right, but it's too heavy at the moment. Down a bit. The transition between the teardrop and here has to be just right. Has to be smooth. And it also has to be sized, the teardrop itself has to be sized appropriate. Just hogging away wood here. Something this small I like to shape with pull cuts if I can. Slightly more control. Oh, I want a more scoop shape there. Finials are a very kind of personal thing. There we go, that's the flow I was looking for. Yeah, as I was saying, finials are a very personal thing. People have their own styles. Right. Try and kind of get your own style of a finial. Now that's roughly what I was looking for. That might still be a bit heavy. I might take that down a bit. Right. That down a little bit. When you're working on one of these, a very light touch. Now in there it's still way too heavy, so we'll try and take that down a bit more. Find the shape again. Now the flow just there is wrong, so we're going to have to try and do something with that. Still not enough of a curve just there. That's more like it. That's much more like it. Right, now I want to scoop there. Yep, like that. Right. Now I want to bring that like that. I'm not sure. I'm going to bring that a bit more, maybe. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. Right. Now, I'll sand and do that part to the same as this before I put in the tenon to join it up. So, I'll be back then. Right, and there we go. Finial shaped and Yorkshire gritted. Right, I'm going to hit it with hamster sheen gloss now. Right, and then I'll put the tenon on the bottom. Now I'm going to finish all the way down to here, right? Because that means that when I cut the tenon in, that no matter where I cut it, it's going to be finished. Right? It gives you a clean line. Nice even covering. I'll be back in a minute. Hang on back. Just buffing this off. Very light, and I'm pinching there just to make sure that it's supported, even though I'm hardly putting any pressure at all on this, because I'm buffing. Oops, hit the camera, sorry. So hardly any pressure at all going on this because I'm just buffing. This is a very basic finial, so I have to think about packing and strength and stuff. Of course, as we all know, the absolute master of finials is Cindy Drozda. So if you want to see how to do really nice finials, go have a look at Cindy. And I was watching a live the other day of a relatively new turner doing a finial, and this lad really has the touch for doing this. His channel is Rob CP, and what I'll do is I'll put a link below. As I said, he really does have the touch for doing this, so go over and give him a look, because so he's a relatively new turner, but is an absolute natural. in my opinion anyway. And as I said, watched him do a finial live the other day, his first live. He was very nervous now, but he really has the touch for doing this. And there we go. Finial for the top of the box. Made out of Indian Rosewood. Right, now we put the tenon on and part it off. Right. Now where I'm aiming for the tenon is just slightly below that transition there. Just slightly below it. I want a slight little straight part. Right, so speed up. Straight. Now we get our height. Yeah, that's where I want to be. You have to make sure that that cut is perfectly flat, or maybe even a little concave. Now I'll use a thin part until to part that off. Now I'm not holding this, I'm just going to catch it, hopefully. Because if you hold it, you stand a pretty good chance of snapping it. So all you're trying to do is catch it. Right, the camera stopped just as it popped off. Well, there it is. Okay. Slightly, very slightly concave end on it there. Right, and now we'll put it onto the box, see how it looks. Right, in the lathe we have a piece of tiger wood. It's about 6 inches by about 4. Now originally I was going to do this box out of a piece of yew. This is the last piece of yew I had. And but when I rounded it off, I found there's a massive crack down there. Right, a crack there, a crack there. Now, I tried filling it with CA, but I don't think that that will hold as a box. Because when I hollow it out, you can see where the CA went. So that crack is actually going down. I'd say that possible crack could almost be gone all the way through it. But I don't think it'll hold as a box, so there's no point in me using it. So I had a piece of tiger, so I'm going to use that instead. Right. What I'm going to do first is put 2 tenons on, then part off where I want the lid, and set up for doing the box. Now, I want the lid about there. Now we stick that in the chuck and part that all off. And we're parted off. there's lots of things about what way you should do this. Should you do the body first? Should you do the lid first? It's really up to you. And with me, it depends on what mood I'm in. Which one I do first? A little low. Face there off. Yep. Right. Right. I'm gonna do a bit of shaping on the outside before I go hollowing. I'm not gonna get anywhere close to finished on the shaping on the outside, but I just want to give myself a rough idea. Because this is going to be a finial box, I don't want the normal like square shape on top or a total dome, so I'm just trying to make it a bit different. Although I could completely change my mind on this. Right, now we'll start to hollow this a bit. And I'll shift the camera. First thing I'm going to do is define the size. Of the rim, which is about that. Make sure that rim is totally flat. Now, I'm just going to hollow this out slightly. Slowing right down at the middle so that I don't snap it off. Get that edge. Now I'm going to get the parting tool and I'm going to make sure that this edge here is perfectly square. There we have a perfectly square edge, and I'm going to leave that slight lip there just for aesthetics, really. As I said, I'm not too worried about the outside, it's just the inside I just want slightly hollowed. Now the reason I'm not hollowing this much is because of the finial. I need space up here at the top to insert the finial. Right, so now I'll sand and finish that before I take that off. Right, now that it's sanded, I'm going to put a couple of marks inside of it just to show that you kind of thought about it. One in the middle. Look at that. Yeah, give them a quick sanding. And there's the inside finished. And make sure to get the wax done in those slits. So I'm just putting my nail in there and running my nail in. Now I'm looking at the outside of this, and I think I probably will change it because I'm not super fond of that shape, but I'll see when I get the box together what shape I decide on. And there we go, there's the inside finished, the inside of the top anyway. Right, now we start on the bottom, or the box part, should I say. So that's the lid. Yeah, no, I don't like the shape of that, so we'll change that, I think. Face on. Just give it a quick touch to make sure that it's round. And we're going around. Now, you make sure that lid fits. That's what's next. So I need the lid. Right. Get a set of calipers and take the measurement from the inside of the lid onto the calipers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take slightly larger, because I want to work down to that size. Now I do not want to like a pop fit on this. I just want to loose, well not loose, but I just want to a firm fit. Right. But I do not want a pop fit on this at all. That's so good. Right. Now we'll see about getting this lid to fit. Stop the light and try that. Big, good. It's just not too small. Now that's a pop fit, which I don't want. So it's a little tight. Right, so I'll refine that later on. Right, what I want to do now is to make sure that, basically define the shape of the box is what I'm going to do. Right, so I'm going to do with the lid in place, of course. joint. Joint is good. Here then. So with this top because I don't like it. Yeah, what I need to remember is that I need a flat spot on top for the finial to go. Now, how deep do I want this box? About there. Can you actually see what I'm doing there? You can. Right. I think you're going for a roundish shape on this. Or kind of upside down egg shape, almost. I'm going to leave the camera where it is so you can see the shape form here. And just try a different camera angle. See what the story is with it. It's almost going to look like an old style vase. About that bump there. There's a ridge just there that's taking away the shape. Right. Yeah, that camera angle is actually working quite well. Because you can see the curve here, but you can see that there's a sharp edge there, and I don't want the sharp edge in this. I'm looking for a vaguely egg-shaped piece. Change gouges to where is my 1/2 inch? There it is. Right. I need to change gouges to a spindle gouge so it can get in there. That's better. Now we're getting to that vase shape that I'm looking for. Now this is too wide. Do I want that square or do I want that rounded? Oh, rounded, I think. Rounded. Something wrong up there. Curve is wrong there. Yeah, that's better. Right. Now this tip. I want to keep that there as a transition to the finial and the finial on the top. Right. Now I'm going to sand and finish that before I hollow out that. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, and we're back. What I've done is I've basically sanded everything down. Right, I haven't put any finish or anything on it yet because I want this tape to stick. Right, I know I'm going to get asked this, right? So we'll just say it anyway. The tape I use is called silage tape, right? It's used to, like, if you've been down the country at all, you've seen bales of silage, right? This is the tape they use to close it, right? It's extremely sticky, and it has kind of the same consistency as electrical tape, so it stretches and stuff. So you can actually pull it really tight around stuff, and it kind of molds to it, and it seems to hold stuff pretty solid. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is sort out the flat part here for the finial, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is trim that down. Now I'm going to wait to sort out that edge there until I get the finial fitted, so that I can kind of blend them in. Get rid of that. And this is where we hope the tape works. Now I'm just going to turn this light on so we can see what I'm doing. Okay. Check height. Everything has to be bang on when you're doing this, because you do not want this to catch, because this whole thing will come flying off. So it's small little cuts, because remember, the only thing that's really holding this on is that tape and friction. Now I also want to put a divot in the middle there for the drill bit, but I'm going to actually sand it first, as I said, to try and make sure it's as flat as possible. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a block of wood that I know is flat. And some sandpaper, hold it onto it. Right. Let's try and make sure that that is as flat as possible. Now remember, you still have to get a finish on this, so move the sandpaper around the place while you're doing it. Now, I'm going to be drilling this with a fastener bit. Not very deep, but I'm still going to be drilling it with a fastener bit. So I want to put a divot in the middle to make very sure that this fastener bit goes in straight and doesn't cause any movement. Slightly too high. Slightly too low. Right. There's a divot. Now, where's that finial? Right. Now, what I need to do is drill down the depth of that. Right. Don't need to drill too far, just only the depth of that. Right. Now, the fastener bit I'm using is as close as I can get it to that size, but if I'm going to be, if it's as close, it's close on the small side, not bigger. Remember, gentle, because there's not much actually holding this. Slightly more, not a lot, just slightly. Right. And there we go. Right. Now what I need to do is I need to blend that in so it meets that finial. And the easiest way to do that is to mark the size of your finial and just cut down to that circle. Now I want to try and make this slightly curved to match the base. And I know I'm cutting uphill, but I'm trying to make as much pressure as I can go that way. Cutting uphill is going to make me need to sand this more. There we go. Right, now I'm going to sand that. Well, first I'm going to check size. Yes. Yeah, that does it. Right. Now I'm going to sand that. Now that that's sanded, I'm going to put the live center back in. To hold it together. Right. And then I'm going to take this tape off. as I said, this stuff is extremely sticky, and why I like using it is because it molds to shape. Right, and there we have that. I've no idea why the grain isn't matching there. It's matching everywhere else. It just isn't matching. See, lovely match there. But I've no idea why it isn't matching there. Right, now I'm going to Yorkshire with it and finish it. Right, while it's still together like that, and then I'll hollow out the bottom part of this. Right, so we'll be back then. And we're back, just buffing off. So what did you think of the other camera angle? The one where you could see my body movement while I was cutting. It was just something that popped into my head one day, and I said I must try that in a video. And while I think of it, before I get into trouble again, if you could like, share and subscribe, that would be really handy. At the time I'm doing this, this video is going up in about 3 weeks from when I'm doing it. But at the time when I'm doing this, I'm heading for 400 subs. There we go, all buffed. And now all I have to do is hollow out that part and put the finial on. And remove the camera for the hollowing. Right, now down to the last part, which is the hollowing of this. Now, first thing I'm going to do, of course, is define box width. Now I'm going to hollow that out. And I'll just speed through this, or I'll speed the video up because you don't see me hollow before. And I would say this video is probably going to be kind of long. Right, while that's drying, I'm going to take the opportunity to stick that finial in. And I'm going to use CA gel to do it. So let me put some on the bottom. Right. I'm going to put some around here. Try not put enough on so it squirts out. Slide the finial in. Hold it down. Now, a slight bit of squirt out there, so I'm going to get that off. Hold the finial in. And the thing about these is, no matter how often you tell people not to take the lid off with the finial, they're going to do it, right? So you try and make this as solid as you can, right? Now, when I was doing this, I sanded here because it was a tightish fit, but you see now, it comes off quite easy. Because as I said, no matter how often you say it, people are going to take it off with that finial, right? Hopefully they hold it by there, but you will get people who will grab it by there, right? So now that that's stuck, I'll polish the inside of this, and then we just have to part it off and finish the bottom. And in other videos I've shown how to finish bottoms of stuff and how to get the Yorkshire grit to work properly, speed wise. So just buffing, so light as hell. There's the inside of the box done. And now we'll just part this off. Now what I want to do is just slightly take in that bottom chamfer. About there. Right, and I want to remember to undercut this. So very carefully catch the edge for an undercut. And let's part it off. Right. Now I'll just finish the bottom as I've shown in other videos, and I'll be back. And here we have my version of a finial box. I'll put up some stills of this at the end. Right. A little bit of decoration on the inside there just to make it fancy. Right. Grey mat isn't too bad. So hope you enjoyed that one. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, please. And I'll see you in the next one.